Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being our moderator while our students and some parents ask questions of Kevin James. This Kevin is going to go away. Kevin James, the fabulous Kevin James from Queens. I'm actually in Queens right now, Kevin James. I don't know if you care, but I want to make sure that you know. So Ethan, I guess you can take me out of here and bring in the great Kevin James.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, Kevin James and everyone else. Hello.
Hi. How are you?
Doing well, considering the entire universe.
Yeah.
How is everyone doing at this table and Kevin James?
We're doing okay. We're back on our show. We're testing every day, and we're all good. And we've been working finishing up our Netflix a TV show. So we have a TV show we're working on for Netflix called The Crew, about NASCAR, and we're finishing up those episodes now.
That's amazing. That sounds awesome. I see like the postcards up there doing like some storyboarding and some.
Yeah. We put them up there to look important, but yeah it's working.
I see. Yeah.
It's just our lunch for the past 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is awesome. It seems like you guys are hard at work, so that's super exciting. We're so excited to have you. Comedy writers are so important to the world and to us, and we have so many kids who are really into screenwriting and comedy writing and all that stuff. So we're gonna have some of our awesome young writers ask you some questions.
Sure.
Awesome. So right now we have Max. Max, take it away with your question.
Hello.
Hey, Max.
Hey. So I've been writing stories and screenplays with Writopia for about a few years now, and this year I am applying to film school, and I hope to one day enter the industry. And my question for you is, how do you find the line between faith in what you can do and also room for improvement in terms of overcoming rejection? How do you motivate yourself after somebody tells you that they don't like your work?
Well, that endures forever. That you got to be ready for rejection, no matter. That doesn't go away necessarily.
I think when you stop listening to, look, you look for the note behind the note. When someone criticizes what you do, instead of taking it personally, you just have to sort of step back and see if there's something smart there, and if there is, change it. And if you disagree, you're the writer, have the voice. But as Kevin says, rejection never goes away. Even at our level, we're rejected all the time. But you need one yes. If you get 20 no's and one yes, that's you can't have more than one yes. So just be true to yourself, have your voice. Don't take it personally if you get rejection, and you should be fine.
Yeah, and it does get easier as you go on, and like I've surrounded myself with people who I feel have similar sensibilities in comedy and stuff like that. So the ideas that we all kind of put in together, we work as a team. But when you're out there alone trying to make it, and you're writing something and presenting it, and they knock it down, you can't take it personally. And there is a fine line to adjusting and doing, kind of taking their notes and being docile and what they say, and taking counsel from people who've done it before you. But there's also stick to what's important to you when you're writing, and you kind of find that way, your way. And like I said, it's a difficult process, but it's also very rewarding when you're going to have these setbacks and people are not going to like it, and then you're going to find a breakthrough and someone says, I love that.
And if I could just throw something in,
yeah.
I find that like when you've written a script or a screenplay and your friends and people whose opinion you trust, they give you notes, give yourself some time.
Yeah.
Like if the material is really fresh and you're too emotionally invested in it, I've written things, I'm like, that's perfect. And friends are like, oh, you could cut that, you could cut that. I'm like, okay, they're crazy. Then you look at it 6 weeks later and you're like, ooh, I could cut that. I could cut that.
Yeah. It's, you see, like a lot of the stuff you write, when you first write it, you're very passionate about it. And you're like, this has to stay and this is it. But good writers, great writers will actually help you say, you really don't need this. And it'll feel painful in the beginning, but then sometimes you realize, you know what, they're right. It's a lot more fluid without it. And you got to be willing to sacrifice that, unless it's, really important. You say, hey, no, I really think this should stay. And then, you live and die by the sword.
Would you say there's like a gut reaction on like what you eventually kind of like learn to sacrifice, and like what stuff you're like really like willing to like fight to keep?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you'll know, as you kind of navigate through the business and doing it, and it's really experience, and you can tell if people understand what your message is, what you're trying to say, and your comedy and your sensibility. And if they don't get you, I mean, like I said, try to surround yourself with people that can kind of help you with your sensibility, and kind of encourage you in that direction. But again, be willing to take notes, and there is a format to writing certain things. Like a sitcom is different than writing for movies, and there's all different things that you might want to take notes on and listen to and say, hey, it's got to kind of fit into this a little bit. But then there's stories about people who break the mold, and it's like, wow, that was completely different and cool.
Yeah, as a writer, the last time you have a chance to sort of, when you're a writer trying to break in, the script represents you. You don't have to take notes. I mean, it is the time where if 100 people tell you you're wrong, but you're sure, try it. This is your time to take your swing. It gets more complicated when you break in, and then the people who are paying you have different opinions. But as a writer, you're putting out a product that represents you. So listen to everybody. Don't be defensive. Take it all in. At the end of the day, make sure you're happy with it before you send it out, because that's the only person you have to please at that point in your career.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for those amazing answers. I feel like that's really good advice that all of us really need to hear. And thank you, Max, so much for that question. Yes, thank you. So our next writer who's coming up is James. So hi, James.
Hello.
Yeah, so feel free to ask your question whenever you're ready.
You look like real life Where's Waldo? What do you
Hi, I'm James. I've been writing screenplays at Writopia for several years now, and my dream is to be in the WGA and write for television and movies. My question is, what's your writing process?
The process now, or like when I was first starting?
When you were first starting.
Man, it took a while for me. I wasn't really a writer out of the gate. As far as I was a stand-up comedian, so I didn't know how to write, a sitcom or a screenplay for a movie to be a movie. I didn't know how to do any of that. So it really was me just through stand-up. Writing jokes for stand-up for me was the gateway to everything. It really forced me to be because when you do stand-up, you're everything. You're the writer, producer, performer. You're wearing all hats. So it really gave me a good background in kind of finding these ways. And you see how everything's a little different. The sitcom is a little different than doing stand-up, and then the movie's different than a sitcom. And you kind of learn these things as you go. But if you know what you specifically want to write for, there's a format for that. And there are people that can kind of help you get into that and write for that, right? I mean, I believe I never wrote.
Yeah, I think at the core it comes down to the idea. I mean, a log line is for a screenplay, describing your movie in 1 to 3 sentences. Right. I think you have to be able to do that with whatever you're working on, and it has to be interesting, because when you're asking someone to read something, they're going to say, what's it about? And that has to be good. I mean, you have to have a great idea. And then once you feel like, okay, I've got an idea that's original and people seem to be responding positively, I think you have to watch every movie in the genre you're working in. You have to, I just think you really need to learn sort of the conventions, of whatever genre you're working in, and go forward. And then I think we have some questions about it later, but then workshop it. Find other friends who are writers, swap screenplays, talk to each other, listen to it. Don't rush out your first draft. So that would be my order. Have a compelling idea at the heart. Make sure you know the language of whatever you're doing, and then share it with friends and listen to their notes.
Yeah, love to.
No, I think that's absolutely fantastic advice. I don't disagree with anything. And I'm not just saying that because you're my boss.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Oh,
wow.
He's in the witness protection program.
Hello.
There you
There you go.
Hello, everyone. My name is Robbie, and I've been at Writopia for 3 years, and right now I'm taking a comedy writing program.
Nice.
So,
I don't need the competition. Quit. That's
Yes.
my advice. Yeah.
okay. So my question is: do you let people read your work while you're writing?
Yeah. Do I let them read my work while I'm writing stuff? Absolutely. These are the guys that I bounce off the ideas, and they'll tell me right away. I'll take jokes from anybody too. I mean, if it works, it works, and I want to know because you want to test it before you go out there. And again, surround yourself with people you trust and you have the same type of comedic sensibility, and that you can agree on things. And we still disagree on stuff, but for the most part, we know our wheelhouse and we know what we kind of want to do, and we help each other structure and restructure jokes all the time. So yes, I let everybody look at my work, and it's their work. It's the same thing.
Okay. One last question. What do you think makes people laugh? Because I usually like to make people laugh in my writing.
Well, I think my kids have heard me say this sentence so many times. It's the key to comedy is surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
that's really what it is. You set up an expectation. You think you know where it's going, be it a short joke or a whole movie, and then you go a different direction, and that's what makes people laugh. It's why a joke isn't funny the second time you hear it ever. It's because you're not surprised by it.
That's right. I mean, that's why we laugh at Jeff every time he walks in the room, because we go, nobody's going to grow a beard that big, but he does.
every day it's bigger.
It's just, we're like,
Whoa. He's got to shave tonight.
He fooled us again.
Thank you. Thanks for supporting Writopia. And thanks for answering my questions.
You got it.
Yeah, of course. Hello.
Do we freeze?
I don't think so.
I think we're still going.
All right. Is this Lorraine? Oh, hello.
Yes. Hey. I think I popped up because I think, Lorraine, you were frozen for a second, but I think everything is cool now. Lorraine is one of a longtime Writopia parent, and she has a question for you guys. So I think I'm going to be erased now.
Okay.
Hi, Mr. James and your team. Welcome.
Nice
I'm a mom of a 9th grader, the subject of my question, who has been at Writopia for approximately 7 years. Wow. So first, I want to thank you for being our honored guest at Writopia's event tonight.
Sure.
And I want to share with you that I enjoyed your work in Mall Cop.
Oh, thank you.
And I have 2 questions.
Is it good? I haven't seen it yet. Is it good? Yeah.
Lauren, you want to talk to my kids?
It's awesome. It's awesome. Especially when you realize you're in love and you have that little accident there. But yeah, it's awesome.
Right, where it hit the van.
That was surprising, which is why it was funny.
That's right. Yeah. That was the surprise. You didn't see the car coming, or maybe you did.
Yeah, it was an amazing movie. So I have 2 questions for you. How can I help a young person, my daughter, push through her shyness and take to the stage? That's number 1. And secondly, do you have any advice for shy people who are talented and deep down love to act, at least with her family?
You know what? Let me say something. I may not appear now, but I was a very, very shy kid. I really was. And I kind of fell into stand-up in college. It was in college where I wasn't great in school, so I talked to somebody. My buddy told me to take a public speaking class because it was an easy 3 credits to pick up. And I joined up and I said, all right, you don't have to do anything. It's easy. And I didn't realize the final exam in that class would be to speak publicly. I didn't even put that together.
Right.
You would have to.
You had no expectation.
No, I thought it was going to be
right there in the title.
Yeah, I didn't see it. And I didn't realize that. I thought we were going to be learning about public speaking, but never actually have to do it. And I had to do it. And I was so frightened. I remember the night before we had to talk about it. Didn't matter, widget, whatever it was. And I put together a speech, and I was panicked. I was up all night, got no sleep, and I finally delivered it. And I got my first laughs doing that speech. And that was what it was for me. I was very shy, still was shy doing stand-up. Even when I realized I wanted to do stand-up then, it is like a drug. It's like it pulls you in and you want to perform more. The one thing I would say for your daughter is, I know it is very difficult, but to try different things and to experience it, because it's like anything else. The more and more comfortable you get with it, the better you're going to get at it. And not worrying about, that was another big thing for me, was when another comedian told me, don't worry about the audience so much of what you're giving to them and what they're thinking of you. Kind of just present yourself, and you kind of just do your stuff like you're confident, like, fake it till you make it, and kind of give them the material and let them feel like they're almost left out if they don't get along and laugh at what you're doing. And I kind of adopted that, and I was thinking, I was so nervous up there, but I feel like the audience is like a dog. They can sense fear, so they know they'll climb up. Just kind of be relaxed. You got to try to do it. You got to keep putting yourself out there. And the more she does it, the more she's going to get used to it, hopefully, and grow and keep trying to do slightly uncomfortable things in that, get on stage and do it. I think experience is the greatest teacher, honestly. I mean, just doing it. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like I said, I was shy. You were shy.
I was shy.
You were?
I was shy. And what did it for me in junior high school, I didn't have the confidence to go out for the school play, but I was in the chorus. I was in the choir. And just by being in the chorus and the choir and seeing someone that I knew doing it, it helped.
That's a great idea. And this is what I did as well, and I didn't even realize this. I joined an improv group. So, you're not, with stand-up, you're front and center, and it's just you. But I first started doing it, I was like in the background with an improv group where you can come on stage and not. And you can try something, and if it doesn't go well, you can jump off and get until you start getting your legs under you, and you can start feeling more and more comfortable with it. So I would recommend doing something if you're with a group, whether it's acting or comedy or whatever she wants to do. Try it in small little plays and little bits like that, and just grow that way.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
Time ago, didn't you? I went a little long on that. Sorry.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm incredibly shy and never got over it, and it's why I'm a writer.
Yeah.
So there are other paths.
Oh,
I
okay.
hide in the background and I wonder what that would be like.
That's why the beard. This is the beard again.
I'm hiding from the world. Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, Kevin.
Hey, hi, Kevin.
Hi.
And the crew of the crew.
That's
It's
right.
nice to see you. Thank you all so much for answering all of those questions and for being awesome. I'm sure that the students will never forget it. And because you ran long on that last answer, I now have to rush into the next thing.
Okay.
I'm not mad. Just it's all good. It's all
Make
good.
some TV. Thank you so much for letting us participate.
Thank you for doing it. You're the best.
All
Take
right.
care.
All right. Thank you.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.